Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to another movie review. Hope you guys have been enjoying the other movie reviews and other videos that have been surrounding this channel. My Fast and Furious 9 review is up and running. Hope you guys are enjoying that review. Now we're going to be doing another movie review, which is for False Positive. The latest from Hulu and from A24. Stars Ilan Glazer, Justin Theroux, and Pierce Bronson. Um, and Before we get into the review, before you guys ask, yeah, we're going to be doing that big collab video pretty soon. Lots of news been coming out lately, and we're going to do a giant video for that. So stay tuned for that when it comes out. But in the meantime, let's talk about false positive. Um, I believe we talked about false positive on this channel before, and um, I found I think they only put out like one trailer, and it was like 30 seconds. And from that 30-second teaser, I was immediately intrigued. This like very hyper and sensibility and this intriguing use of visuals, and it just seemed very interesting. And I was very interested to see how the movie was going to be. Obviously, I knew it was going to be about a pregnancy, but I liked the abstract idea that I was getting from that trailer. And yes, False Positive is indeed about a pregnancy. It's about this couple who wish to get pregnant, and they've been having a tough time for the past 2 years. And then the husband suggests to go talk to Pierce Bronson, who is a doctor, and lo and behold, they end up getting pregnant. But she is having doubts about said pregnancy and whether or not certain things are real. What's really happening, and you can kind of see where things are going. Um, and the thing that I will give credit to for false positive that I kind of alluded to in the trailer with it having looking visually interesting is that it is visually interesting the way that they play around with certain visuals and the way that they utilize the camera. But the camera work, I must say, is actually quite good in some respects, and I found that to be quite engaging. And the movie itself is engaging. There's a decent pace. There's enough enough story told for you to be satisfied. It's not I wouldn't say it's hollow or anything, but it gives it enough satisfaction, narratively speaking, to give you um, um, both satisfaction and engagement. Um, and there's wiggle room in the second act for you to interpret certain things, and then the third act kind of unveils, everything about what's really going on. And when they do that, I was hoping for something else. Instead, and this is where we get into my negatives now, the movie is very predictable. You know exactly what's going on. I mean, the idea that you have in your head for false positive is, in fact, what is going on. And I didn't really like that. I really wanted this movie to really uh, do something bold and really, commit to a certain idea that is not the obvious answer, because the thing that you believe is believe is the answer is likely the answer, and I did not like that. I knew the whole time what was going on, and then we had like an hour of movie for like setup and stuff, and I was engaged. I was still engaged in that front, but it's pretty easy to figure out what's going on. Um, and even though I found the story itself to be engaging, rather even it is predictable and satisfying, the atmosphere surrounding it is actually kind of dry. It doesn't have a lot of flavor to it. I mean, there's a lot of tension building, but there's not a lot of flavor to it. It doesn't have enough anything else for you to chew on rather than just the tension. And tension is great when there's also characteristics to it, when you're adding characteristics and developments to it. That's where the tension really starts to brew and really sit in with you. Um, the movie that I would say is the best comparison to False Positive is The Invisible Man, which came out last year. Um, Very similar type films where I mean, on paper, and if someone was just to tell you the story for both movies, the predictability is still there. Like how Invisible Man is gonna end, and how False Positive is gonna end. But the reason why Invisible Man is better than False Positive is that the atmosphere surrounding it is very, very juicy and very entertaining. and there are great thrills and great engagement and great satisfaction within narrative, and great performances. So the whole package is quite entertaining and delicious at some points. False Positive is like a lesser Invisible Man in that you know how the movie is going to end, but it just doesn't have the complete package. It's missing some elements, and one of those elements being that atmosphere. It just feels rather dry. And another element for that I believe is missing is I think that they just didn't hit the mark with its runtime. I felt it to be a little too short. It's an hour and a half, and when I saw that, I was actually very happy because I was like, "Cool, this is going to be a tight horror film because it's pitched to be also be a horror film. And it's not really that scary. There are some good thrills per se, but it's not really a scary movie. Invisible Man is scary. There are good scares in that movie and good buildup of thrill of tension. False Positive has its moments, but it's not enough to where you feel uneasy. So, um, but yeah, back to the runtime though. I just thought it was too short. I feel like the movie needed like an extra like 20 minutes because it just kind of feels like we build like a big portion of this movie is building, 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 and then when we finally reach, what it is we reach the top, the movie just ends, and it's just like I feel like we needed more time, like a little more time. Like it's like build, 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 build. We're here by it's just like can we have a little bit of time to like admire what's at the top and really bathe in what the rest of the big surprise, because it just kind of just ends, and I feel like we needed a little bit more time, and a little bit more going on, when the surprise is unveiled. I Because it just kind of goes like, oh, this happened, the end, you know, and oh, this is what was happening the whole time, the end. It was like, I needed a little bit more for the end. And just in general, I felt like it was just the story seemed to have been playing a little quicker than it should. It should have been fleshed out a little bit more, but it was still as it is. It's satisfying enough. And to summarize it, guys, though I do believe it is engaging, visually interesting, and narratively satisfying enough to explore. Its predictability, like seriously, you know what the movie is when you're watching the movie. If you think to yourself, the movie is this, it is very likely that it's a very predictable movie. Rather dry atmosphere, and again, too short of a runtime really bring this piece down to what clearly had loads of potential. Like the story itself and the way that they're visually representing said story had loads of potential to be something very, very profound and very engaging. Um, or not engaging, but very investing and intriguing. And it is that at the start, but it finishes rather mediocre more than anything else. But there are enough thrills and some amount of intrigue that will keep you engaged enough and once will keep you afloat to keep watching. But I truly did desire for so much more. Um, so if you're looking for something more for False Positive, you're not really going to get much. If you're just looking for something to watch on Hulu and just find honestly, just a passable thriller, False Positive is that. But I was looking for a lot more for this movie, and unfortunately, I didn't get it.